Good morning and welcome to America's Home Cooking. Today we're making brown rice salad with fennel, mushrooms, and walnuts. I know it sounds interesting, doesn't it? You need 1.5 cups of long grain brown rice. I have it right here. I added my vegetable stock here because I'm going to cook it in vegetable water, if they like it or not. So what they want me to actually do is add salt to this and cook it, and then we're going to strain it, which I normally don't do, but it seems they want me to do this, and I really don't want to do it. Okay, let's be honest. I'm going to hem and haw and say I really don't want to do it. That's too much salt that they're adding into it and everything else. So I am not going to bring 3 quarts of boiling water in a large pot, throw this rice in, and then throw all that water and nutrients out. I'd rather cook nutrients into these brown rice. So I'm going to do it my way, as usual. So I am going to turn this stock on. The rest of it I'll follow, but this one, no. Because I know when you start cooking this rice and you put it in a big pot of water like that, the nutrients are coming out of it. That's why I'm going to use the stock. I'll add water to it if I have to, and I'm going to add some salt like I normally do. Not a lot. You don't need a lot when you use the salt mixture. You might not taste it, but your body knows you're getting your iodine in it. A lot of it. I'm just breaking up the kelp into the stock that I poured in here. I poured in a whole quart of stock. I'm sure I'm going to have to add water. But what they want you to do is cook this rice just till it's done. But the way they're doing it, there's too many nutrients lost, and that doesn't make sense to me. So let me get my cookbook out of here. I was really upset with that. I didn't like that part of it. So I'm going to bring that stock to a boil. That's what I'm doing right now. Then we'll rinse the rice and put it in, and we'll watch it. Now I know wild rice takes longer to cook, but don't worry about it. Just catch it to the point of doneness. It will have a slight nutty texture to it, but it won't be crunchy hard, but you will know the taste of it. Now they state, I'll see how long they state to cook the rice. Of course I already know it. Because he says when you overcook rice, it's either clumpy or something. 22 to 25 minutes. See? I told you it takes longer, not 10 or 12. So a quart of water, a quart of stock should take care of this rice, and I should have extra. If I have a little extra, I'll strain it off. And if I need more water, I'll just add water to it. And while this is cooking, we'll start getting other stuff together. Okay, we are going to let that cook. Get the lid on it. Once it starts to boil, I'll turn it down to simmer and let it do what it does naturally, and let's read the rest of this recipe. I know I had to buy 2 packages of mushrooms because they said they wanted a pound of mushrooms in this. mushrooms you want a pound, trimmed and quartered. 1 pound of mushrooms trimmed and quartered. I will be back. I have to get my scale and everything. Okay, I got my scale out. Now we have to get 1 pound of mushrooms before we clean them and dress them up. I tried to buy a big bag, but they weren't as pretty as the smaller containers, so I used them. This is a lot of mushrooms to go into this rice. Almost. I had 2 containers. That's how much mushrooms I've got left. I think 6 of them. And that's it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wash these mushrooms. And I'll show you. It's a lot of mushrooms I have here. I'm going to wash them and trim the bottom. And then I will be back and then we'll start preparing them. Okay, the mushrooms have been cleaned. Next, what we're going to do, you're going to trim them. Oh yeah, I'm going to say that because I know where they're going. And what you're going to do is you're going to quarter the mushrooms. Every last one of them. Just trim off the hard part down on the bottom that's on the stem. And then you're going to quarter every last one. Did you know at one time, the young people would know this, the older people will remember this, that clothes that are made with cotton, we used to starch. We used to have to make our starch. You use blue and corn starch, and that's how you make it. I got a couple of cotton skirts, so I know I'm going to have to make starch. And starching, we used to have 2 different kinds of iron. We had a steam iron, and we had a dry iron. But when you have plastic, better known as polyester, rayon, nylon, you cannot use starch. Starch was only used on our cotton. I told you my brother loved his blue jeans starch. My mother said, I'll starch it, but I'm not ironing them. So we've lost a lot. We really have. I remember there used to be woodworking, and those were, mechanics. We called them Future Farmers of America and Future Homemakers of America, because they depended upon us for this country. And everybody who goes into the computer world, they're not the future of America. I don't trust computers, because if they're programmed wrong, they make the program to the point where you can't even understand it unless you go to school to learn how to talk to the computer, to learn how to work the computer. I can talk with a human being, but I can't talk with a stupid computer. I like reading books. I don't like reading on the computer. The computer is harder on our eyes. More people will be wearing glasses. In the metropolitan area, you don't get much sunlight unless you have those big high condos and you have the light shining in. But if you're on the lower floors, you get a lot of artificial light and it hurts your eyes. I already tasted the rice. It's not ready yet. So I think about it. this country is over attacked and we're at war. A lot of people are not going to know how to hunt. They're not going to know how to sew by hand. They're not going to know how to cook, preserve, nothing. Only the ones who have a farm or have a father who does this. You're going to learn anything. And people say, oh, it'll never happen to America. I wouldn't bet on it. And you know why I could say that? We're being invaded. Those are some of the signs that you've turned your face against God, so punishment's coming. Well, anyway. I'm going to be buying apples. I want to make apple butter, and I want to make applesauce, can it up for the winter. And I'm going to make that citrus mix again, so I can have lemon, grapefruit, and orange as a marmalade. But I do plan to make orange marmalade as well. With as many vegetables as this is going to have, I say, okay. I also found a beautiful asparagus salad, and I said, oh my God. I was reading it and I got hungry. So what are you doing today? Me, I will be washing clothes all day. That's what I'm doing right now. You have to say this is a lot of mushrooms. Let me get it in this. Pour the excess water out. Let me put them over here because we've got a fennel that we have to care for, and I've got to take care of this and put it in the bag. Okay. I told you I'm going to start collecting. Now, most people think mushrooms don't offer anything, but mushrooms have trace minerals in them, Yes, those trace minerals that you need that are so important, they have them. All right, now what do they want me to do? All right. Discard the ball half. One and a half. Okay. You need a funnel. This is where our lease comes from. This plant. Let me check the rice. Almost. Yes, you can put this in as well. Goes very well in this stock. Once you take the outer leaves off, throw them in the bag as well. Throw it in the freezer. When we get it full, we'll sit there and deal with it. All right. All right, now we have to cut. You see this part right here? This is what we're going to cut out. And that will go in the bag as well. I'm just going to put it over there. Now they want us to thin slice this. Putting my fingers, that's what I'm worried about. I didn't quite get, and they stick together like this. Just cut that little bit off, the core. I didn't quite get all the core. Other than that, they should fall apart. Now you're going to put this in a bowl. Don't put them with the mushrooms because they're both going to cook separate before we put this dish together. Okay, put that there because I need to collect that. These stuck together. All right, get rid of that. Okay, we're getting things together. We're doing pretty good. Just waiting on the rice now. Checking the rice again. Okay, now I'm going to do something I never do. They want me to strain this, which I'm going to do, but I hate doing. Just letting you know. Oh God, that lid's... They're going to have a slight nutty taste to them. Wait till you see what we do with it next. You're going to get a pan. You're saying, oh God, what am I going to do next? Have to rinse this a bit. I told you I never rinse rice and stuff like this. But this recipe is unique in that aspect. I'm just taking all the water off as much as I can. Where did I put my oil? I'm reading right now, okay? Give me a minute. Which one do you want? 1 tablespoon of vinegar. Okay. They want white wine vinegar, and you're going to drizzle 1 tablespoon over the rice. Okay? Well, I just ran out of that. Well, they want you to mix that up. This is why I went back and read it. Are you sure this is what you want me to do? Yep. And then they want you to spread this out and let it cool. And we'll get the rest of this together before we put the whole thing together. Okay, I need white vinegar. I'll put this up here so I remember. Now you're going to take this and let it cool. That's it. Told you, I keep reading this recipe more than once because I want to make sure I get this right. But it's so different from anything that I've known. Okay. Now they want us to get a 12-inch skillet. Put it over medium-high heat, and you're going to add 1 tablespoon of olive oil into it. And we're going to add the mushrooms with a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and we're going to cook, stirring occasionally until the skillet is dry and the mushrooms are brown. And that's going to take 6 to 8 minutes. Okay, I have to put you on pause because I have to go get that skillet. Oh, I got them on. We're stirring them around. Now we have to keep doing this, periodically stirring them around so that they dry out. Now the reason you put the vinegar on the rice is to give it a twang because this is a salad we're making. But you had to spread them out on the cookie sheet because if you left them together they would continue cooking and then they would become glumpy together. And then you would taste the starch because they'd still cook. That's why I rinsed mine real quick and then I put it on the cookie sheet and put that vinegar on because they're still hot. I just wanted to wash the extra stock off and then sit there and spread them out. So that's why it's being done, so they can cool without continually cooking and they can absorb that vinegar that we put on them. All right, now we have fluid coming out of them, and now we just have to wait till they completely dry out, and then we'll be ready to move forward. Okay, you're going to add a 1/2 teaspoon to the mushrooms now. This will help them. When they dry out, that's when they're going to start browning. See, that salt will help draw that fluid out. Okay, the liquid's gone, now we're browning them. Be careful because you don't want them to burn. See how they're browning up some? put them in a plate. And we're going to let these cool. All right, you're going to add a tablespoon of oil again. See how the oil gets a shimmer on it? It's not smoking, it's just a shimmer. Put the fennel in. Put in 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt onto it. This is only going to take 3 or 4 minutes for this one, for the fennel. And then you're going to put it with the mushrooms, and then we're going to get the other stuff together. It's a lot of individual steps to make some of these dishes, but they're so exceptional. You should take the time and do it. Surprise your family. Believe you me, shock is a good thing sometimes when you surprise them what you're doing in the kitchen. When my husband got sick, I couldn't cook. I was so involved with him and the medicine and everything. And the doctor put him on these crazy diets that he can't eat this, he can't eat that. But he could sure pop all those pills they wanted him to take. Going to be a little brown. They will be crunchy a bit. You don't want them soggy. Just making sure they don't burn. I have to scoot you back. This is only going to be 2 to 3 minutes. It's not going to be a long time in the skillet here. What you're doing is bringing the flavor out on this one, and it's really nice. And they're caramelizing just a bit. Okay, now you're going to pour this on top of those mushrooms to cool. important that you cook everything to a white and mushy state. You cook a lot of the flavors out. That's why some recipes you read and you say, no, I think it needs to be a little longer. No, they're actually controlling that you still hold the flavor of whatever you're cooking, but not losing it. So now we're putting this over to cool. Now back to my cookbook. I have a clean area to put it on. Okay, sit up there. White wine vinegar. You think I have more white wine vinegar? I'm gonna have to look for white wine vinegar. Okay, let me get the rest of this stuff out and I will be back. Okay, you're going to need 1 shallot minced. This has the flavor of garlic and onion together. Oh, I haven't even gotten out to the laundry. I gotta get back into it. You know, I should get my head examined. I keep throwing everything in here. Gotta leave it on the counter so I can work with it. Don't worry, I'm taking care of something. Alright. Come on, you've got a thin veil, I can feel it. You know, I'm noticing a lot of the cooking shows now, they're looking for speed. And unless you're a chef, you're going to cook slower than them. Go fast, you could end up cutting your fingers. You can see my fingers get cut. I do keep band-aids around the house because I need them. You can see this is a salad, though you're putting your starch into it. If you have a meat with this, you pretty much have just 2 dishes and that's it. Because this covers for your starch and your vegetables. That's pretty much the chopping. All right, let's see what's next on this agenda. Pepper. We want a 1/2 teaspoon of, where did I put it? Oh, do I have a 1/2 teaspoon here? Yep. Half a teaspoon of that. You want a 1/2 teaspoon of salt in this. 2 tablespoons of the white wine vinegar. I found a bottle. I thought I was out. Got the 2 tablespoons of vinegar and 2 tablespoons of oil. Where did I put it? In the refrigerator. But of course. Okay. Oh God, I'm getting this book dirty already. All right. Okay, they want us to mix this up. To move this to the bowl, yeah. You're going to beat all this together that we just did. Okay? Now the rice is cooled, you're going to put it in a big bowl. You know, if you're having a party, this would be just great to serve. And you're going to take all of this and you're going to pour it over the rice and mix it. And this has to sit a bit. While this is sitting, we are going to toast 2/3 of a cup of walnuts. So this goes over to the side again. I don't have any glue. I'm stacking everything on this. This is ridiculous with me. Okay, now we're going to have to toast these walnuts. I'm going to warn you, I've made a lot of mistakes toasting nuts. Low flame and keep a bloody eye on them. If you don't, you can burn them very, very easily. We're almost to the end of this recipe. I know I'm taking a long time doing it, but I'm walking you through this as well. So it's always wise to keep, because nuts can burn very, very easily. Some people like putting them in the oven and then they forget about them. I usually like to do them with butter, but they want them dry like this, so I'm doing it this way for them. Because these pans, when my pans get hot, they get very hot, so I have to be very careful. That's because they're built with a special thick lining on the bottom. I think it's a thin layer of cast iron because they really hold heat like a cast iron. I just think they taste better with butter, but you want it this way. You'll actually be able to smell them, which is really nice. I'm making peach preserves. No, is it not jelly? Preserves. And I think I'm going to buy some pears and I'm going to make pear preserves. But this week I'm definitely making peach preserves. And I'll check out what kind of pears I'd like to make a pear preserve. Because I think it'd be nice to have. There's 4 jellies. We've been going through the jellies now, so now I could start thinking about them. The reason you see me toss them a lot, because you want to make sure that they get heated on both sides. And as they heat up and heat up and heat up, as you toss them, you'll notice they start browning, and you can actually smell them toasting. Quite nice. That's why you do it. I found some of the recipes that I've been looking for a long time. They're in these cookbooks I got, and I am so happy. Like, there's a sesame seed candy that I like. I've always liked it, but I've never gotten the recipe for it, so this will be something new for me. All right, this pot's hot. Well, let me finish toasting them and I'll be back. Okay, you're gonna chop them. Be careful you don't burn yourself because they are hot. You don't want them finely chopped, you just want them chopped coarsely. Okay, that's it. Now we're going to start putting this whole dish together. Now that we've done A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and everything else, it goes in between it. Now this is sat, and it's absorbed the vinaigrette that we put on the rice. Adding the mushrooms and the fennel. Actually putting all the flavors together now. They have it in such an order that makes it ABC. They say you have to do this. Okay. How much tarragon? teaspoons of tarragon. I don't have fresh tarragon. If you're using fresh tarragon, they say 2 tablespoons. But I don't have that. So I use what I have. And on the parsley, let me see, and I will tell you in a minute. What do you want here? Okay, you're going to put a teaspoon of parsley in. And you're only going to put in about half a cup of the nuts, and that's it. Oh my gosh. You should smell this. Just gonna make sure I mix it thoroughly. Well, you're going to take the last of the walnuts, you're going to sprinkle it on top. That's all you're going to do. Told you we're winding down. And you're going to put 1 more teaspoon, sprinkle it on top, and that's it. The salad is done. I know it was a lot of extra steps you would have to do to make it, but when you love your family and you want to entice them to eat and learn about different things, this is what we do. Here it is. I know it took some time. I feel like I've been at this forever. Anyway, there it is. Take care and have a great day. Bye-bye.